Well, good morning. It's about 7 a.m. and we're here in the Wrangell, Alaska shipyards. But hang on, before we go with that day, this is the day before, and I had this time-lapse footage I wanted to share with you. That's me building out the second side of the shelter tent around the Gypsy to contain the sandblast dust and keep the rain off and give us a working environment where we can not make a whole mess in the yard and also work on the windy, rainy days and even in the dark, honestly, with some light. So what I got here is rough cut yellow cedar, because we're in southeast Alaska and yellow cedar is just as common as any other wood, turns out. So these were about 16-foot boards, and after getting this good suggestion from the mystery machinist, I just bent a 2x4 around under the rub rail and then used pretty much the maximum length I could with those 16-foot 2x4s as continuous rafters and put another 2x4 along the ground. It worked quite well. Actually, it was much easier than the other side, the way I built it, and I think had good results. Now here is me doing the monkey dance and my dad helping me out with the plank off the scaffolding to attach battens on the plastic on the bow section of the shelter tent that I actually had built a few days earlier. But we did this late into the night because we were really hoping that the next day was going to be sandblast day, and I wanted to get at least the bow closed in, knowing I wasn't going to get the whole shelter done. It is a beautiful morning, and behind me is the Alaskan Gypsy, our triple-masted steel schooner designed by Thomas Colvin. And you see she's got a nice little tent around her, looks like a skirt. Today's a big day here in the shipyard for me and for the Gypsy. Today is the day that she's gonna get sandblasted below the water line on this half side that's really sheltered in. So built that tent structure there, containment, rain barrier, out of shrink wrap, and these are little cedar lath boards or battens screwed on. It's not actually shrunk. I didn't bother to shrink it because honestly I think it's good enough for hopefully only about the week that I need it, and fingers crossed no big storms are going to come. So I want to take you around. Here's what we got going on. Got a little board on that tarp there, so it's kind of like a swinging door. Got some plastic over everything in here, and I'm just gonna sandblast that side of the boat today. That's the plan. There's our rudder. I got to take that zinc off, I see, and that one's still different size wrench, but the rudder's gone, the prop's gone. She's in pretty rough shape, and if you're new to this channel or new to this story, everybody's asking, how did it get so bad? Well, before I owned it, the Gypsy didn't get its zincs changed, and it sat in a, let's say, an area of the Ketchikan Harbor with a lot of stray current. And so it had really significant electrolysis corrosion. There is some rust. This area definitely was getting some rust going on, but not real bad. The rust pitting is actually not super bad on this boat. It's really the electrolysis that was bad. So what you're looking at is just kind of a mishmash of paint failing from lack of maintenance. There's some calcium, I think this is. It's like old barnacles or something that got painted over or whatever. Here is areas that there was pretty deep electrolysis pitting, and I've welded into the deepest ones to build them up a little bit. And we're going to sandblast it down to what they call white metal, which is basically just bright steel that's been surface profiled. Besides getting all the paint off, a big thing of blasting is giving that surface profile, which is like a rough texture, so that the paint layers have something really sharp to adhere to. So let me say, I'm no expert in this. I've actually never sandblasted a hole like this before. I've never even been around when it was getting done. And I'm really relying on what I consider the good information from folks here in the shipyard in Wrangell who have done a lot of this and are advising me on what to do, trying to help keep it within my budget, hopefully. So here's the nozzle for this sandblaster. It's a big one. I think this is a number 7 or a number 8. It's a brand new nozzle. Superior Marine is renting the setup to me today. Apparently the safety on the trigger is a little dysfunctional, but there's the line over here. I got a helmet. Glencoe Apollo 600. A sandblast helmet with fresh air supply. I'm going to spend my day in that thing apparently. So I'm going to start at the bottom as I've been told and work my way up. And I need to get some plywood to put on my rafters up there because I'm told that I'm likely to shred my plastic from all of the bounce back ricochet and the sand or grit flying. Some of the worst areas on the boat were right along the chine, which I've welded in. There was some zones in there that had really deep pitting. Here you go, a little walk through up to the bow. Should be looking really different this afternoon, I hope. And then my plan will be to get a coat of inorganic zinc primer brushed and rolled on there. Here's my breathing air supply. Look back at the hull. And it sounds like Superior Marine might be here. Might be time for me to get ready to go. Wish me luck. I hope she looks really different in a few hours. Hope I can get it done today. And I hope I have a bright, shiny white metal, not too shiny, supposed to be dull, hull to show you later today. Well, it's about 6 p.m. and the sandblasting is done. Well, Don Sork wouldn't quite tell me that I did a good job, but he didn't find too much wrong with it. For a first timer, I feel pretty good. It's pretty incredible. I gotta say, it's like an incredible transformation on this hull. And it's about to get dark. We got our lights on. My dad's back there fiddling with the rudder, and I got to get to spread and paint. We got to roll this entire half of the boat. Look at this side. Here's our paint, 5 gallons mixed up of inorganic zinc primer. Got my respirator. So here we go. I think I was blasting from about 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. non-stop. Didn't even go to the bathroom and get a drink of water. Stayed under the boat the entire time and made it to the bow. So I think it's looking good. I'm really happy. Sandblasting was amazing. I was laughing to myself thinking, why didn't anybody tell me I should sandblast? It's incredible what that sandblaster does. Just kidding. Everybody told me to sandblast over and over. And I can see why. It's incredible. Really amazing. So I think I'm going to get to spread and paint. Here we go. One of the things about sandblasted steel like this is I've been told you have to get a coating on it quickly in this environment. Particularly the thing I've been told around here is you wouldn't want to wait more than 4 hours before getting a coat of primer on, or you risk having a flash rust event, which would give you the need to sandblast again, or you end up putting your paint on over top of a less than perfect surface. So I was quite grateful to have my dad here during this phase of the project to help out with the painting, because that was the end of one hell of a long, tiring day. As amped up as I was about the progress, it was a lot of work, and using a roller and a brush to cover this entire half of the boat was a pretty daunting task at this time in the evening. funny thing is I've actually found out through a turn of events that the reason it took me 9 hours or something to sandblast this side of the boat was because the sandblaster wasn't actually working right. When I was sandblasting the other side, it started out going about the same speed, and then it goobered out a big wad of wet sand, I think, and then the sand really started to flow, and I was able to finish the other side in, I think it was like 3 hours instead of 8 hours. So live and learn. I guess that's the cost of being a newbie and never using or seeing how these things work. But so we were just rolling this stuff on and really pushing it hard into any of the imperfections in the hull, and using a brush as needed, pushing in hard with the roller. And what I came to find out later is this is its common name is Demet Coat. It's an inorganic zinc primer meant to go on sandblasted steel. In the yard here in Wrangell, if you have a good sandblast job, people usually use this Demet Coat, or 302H is the product name from PPG, but there's similar products from a lot of other companies as well. This is just the one that they commonly use here, but it's actually not meant to go on thick, which I didn't know. In this footage you're watching, I ended up doing about 2 to 3 coats of it that night. Later I was told that it's more of a treatment than you're not really looking to build up coating thickness. So little did I know, but anyhow, put it on thick. It was a very satisfying process getting some paint on that sandblasted hull and actually having it look like somebody cares about it, even though there's still a lot of work to go. But all in all, a very satisfying day, and very grateful for the way things came together and the help I received in that day particularly. Thanks for watching. See you next time.